You know, also look good. The fact that Team USA won gold medals in both men's and women's basketball, and who sounded good is the guy joining us now on the call, on NBC, on Peacock, on every NBC platform imaginable during the Olympics, because he had the marquee events, the basketball. Noah Eagle joins the Rich Eisen Show. Are you back, or is this live from parts unknown in Europe?
I am back and better than ever. I did not have a plane door malfunction, so that was a good thing. But we did sit on the runway for an hour and a half, so I felt like I had a plane door malfunction.
Which, after a month over there and you're back for an hour and a half, all you want to do is get out of there and get back home. I get it, but hey, man, congratulations. I know it's about the athletes and about the medals and about the moments. That's what we all say in this business, but you killed it, dude.
Feeling is mutual, Andrew. I mean, I think it was a great team effort, and it was a blast. Like, I'm sure you feel the same way, and it's a huge undertaking. The Olympic Games are massive in so many ways, and it felt like this year in particular was such a renaissance for the Olympics and such a resurgence in many ways. But it was so much fun, and obviously we got really lucky with the finish, but I appreciate it, and I'm trying to readjust now to whatever American life looks like. I'm still got parlez-vous anglais? Parlez-vous anglais?
You worked in a little French on the broadcast there when necessary, and I agree with you. It's one thing to go call the Olympics. Oh yeah, that's going to be fun. But these Olympics were great because we had so many great moments. America, I think, fell in love with the Olympics again because of Team USA basketball, both men and women, because of Noah Lyles, because of Sha'Carri Richardson, because of Mondo Duplantis, because of Kristen Faulkner, her amazing story as a cyclist. These games were great because the athletes were great, because the moments were great, because Paris, Noah, was an amazing host. I thought one of the best headlines I saw was the Parisians had nothing to complain about. Like, it actually went well.
Yeah. They complained that I was there, I think. And the majority of us that were roaming the streets were definitely annoying them and frustrating them. But it was the perfect storm in so many ways. And all of the tremendous athletes you just mentioned, the Simone Biles storyline and cementing her status as the GOAT. And from a basketball perspective, just in the world I was living in, to think about so many of the storylines that went into it ahead of time, to think that the French men's team looked as bad as they did in week one and turned it on in such a way that we didn't expect, for them to get to the final, for the French women's team to make it to the final and have this just epic matchup in both the U.S. and France and go in a battle, and for the women to win 8 straight golds, for Steph Curry to have his singular Olympic moment be what it was. I mean, they were 2 literal storybook endings. So you combine those with every other sport that felt like it delivered in the highest possible regard. It is truly a special time of every 4 years, and I was really honored to be a part of it.
I'm talking to Noah Eagle, who called the basketball on NBC, both the men and the women, obviously, the gold medal matches, and we saw right there the gold medal games, the image, the lasting image that we're going to see for years now of Steph and LeBron going night-night. What did it mean there, do you think, for these two to do this together after everything from the NBA in years past?
So what I loved about this team was that it spanned 3 distinct eras and generations of NBA superstardom. You had the old and the big dogs, as Anthony Edwards called them, with Steph, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. Those are Mount Rushmore level players right there that are going to be all-time names, all-time figures in the world of basketball. Then you had that middle generation, the Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Drew Holiday, Derek White even now as a part of that. And then you had this newer wave, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker. You have this very distinct 3 levels, 3 eras. But at the end of it, it was the 3 oldest. It was the 3 oldest, by the way, to ever win gold for the United States men's basketball team. They all 3, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, were older than Larry Bird when he won it with the '92 Dream Team. And there was something special about that. And especially your point, Steph and LeBron, who Kevin Durant was clearly a part of this era and a part of the championships won in Golden State and a part of the story of the NBA. But those two were the faces. Those two were battling it out year after year. They were the headliners. They were the lead singers. And so for them to be together, because we'd seen them in All-Star and on pickup teams, or whatever, for them to truly fight for something that meant as much as an Olympic gold medal and something that it meant as much as keeping the 5 straight Olympic golds and everything else, the legacy that this builds and this moment creates was so special. And to see them enjoying it and that level of mutual respect that we knew was there, but was really brought to the surface with them being on the court together. I mean, how often did you see LeBron James say, I'm going to defer? Because, look, you can say all the time, late clock, fourth quarter, 1-point game, tie game, need a bucket. LeBron always has it in his hand and then makes the right play. So he might give it up, but it's in his hand. Kevin Durant, it's always in his hand. So how many times have you seen those two guys defer to somebody else and that dude deliver in the way that he did? It was so awesome.
Yeah, and there's obviously the image that they will perhaps hang in the Louvre one day. And by the way, the Louvre, I don't know if anybody was following it, the actual Louvre Twitter feed was having fun all throughout the Olympics when people would say hang it in the Louvre. They would actually answer. And so that was fun on Twitter. And it goes all the way back to even the intrigue in game number 1. Is Kevin Durant going to be available? He comes off the bench late in the first quarter and starts raining threes. And then obviously he had his moments throughout the entire thing as well. Noah, do you believe LeBron when he says that at 43 he won't play in LA 28? Because honestly, I don't.
I would say my gut is with you, that knowing him and knowing what he understands about making history and how he enjoys this aspect of longevity and the fact that nobody's really done this at this level, there's a part of me that says he'll play. But at the same time, the work that is required, and I got to do these games with Dwayne Wade, who obviously intimately knows LeBron. And Dwayne said that he's the hardest worker he's ever been around. And that has continued to now 39 years old. So the amount of work that's required literally on a daily basis, the amount of workouts that are required on a daily basis to play at the level that he plays is insane. And so to require that from a 43-year-old would be a lot. And knowing LeBron, he's only going to do it if he feels he's going to play at a high enough level to be on the team. So it's an interesting question. It's an interesting topic. I'm not sure the correct answer is yes or no at this point, because I think LeBron also does kind of go day by day with it and how he feels in the moment. But as a result of that, him declaring it right now doesn't feel like it's accurate either, because I think he'll get closer. Yeah. And if he feels good enough, he'll say, you know what, let's do it. One more ride.
And look, I don't know if it's I think it's a fair comparison. Diana Taurasi just got her 6th at 42. Now, granted, she spent a lot more time on the bench than she has in Olympics past to get that 6th. And, you know, I'm not trying to go down the Caitlin Clark rabbit hole to debate whether or not she should have been there instead. But Diana Taurasi was there and just got their 6th. And Noah, let's not forget the women, because I think that game Sunday was closer than many people thought it would be.
Yeah, very much so. And to that point, Taurasi is 42. Lauren Jackson with Australia is 43 on her 5th Olympic medal. So and Lauren Jackson's retired maybe 3 separate times before this and is one of the greatest figures in women's basketball history. So it's not out of the question for LeBron, just like it wasn't out of the question for DT. And both Lauren Jackson's and DT's presences on their teams were very helpful for a younger wave now coming up. The presence of veteran, understanding situations. They were very active on their benches. There's a lot there that does play a factor. That gold medal game was fascinating because it was such a slugfest in the first half, especially. It was 25 apiece at halftime, which we definitely didn't expect. The U.S. women were averaging about 90 points per game heading into that gold medal game. And France had an explosive offense through most of the tournament themselves. But give France so much credit for the way they handled themselves. They got ballers on that side. I mean, Gabby Williams showcased her talent. We knew what she was at UConn. We knew what she was in the WNBA as a top 5 pick. But I think she kind of reintroduced herself in a lot of ways. She wasn't playing in the W this season. Same with Maureen Johannes. We know what talent she is. But they've got this youth movement of a bunch of women who were 24, 23, 22 below. They had a 16-year-old, not a 16-year-old, excuse me, a 19-year-old who played at 6'6" in that game. That is the future of French women's basketball that Tony Parker called the female Victor Wembanyama. So they've got immense talent. They had the crowd behind them, and they played as great a game, as physical a game, and as arduous a game as you could possibly ask. And realistically, as the broadcaster, all I asked for are close finishes and fun finishes. Certainly got that.
You certainly did. And to put it in perspective, and I'm not trying to make a joke about your age, but that team has not lost in the Olympics since before you were born.
Yeah.
They haven't lost since 92. They have won 61 consecutive games. And just try to put that in perspective, any group of elite athletes in a team sport winning 61 consecutive games. They're not playing every day. It's a different group of athletes, obviously. Obviously, Diana Taurasi has her 6, but they haven't lost since Barcelona, which is just bonkers. The Dream Team, Bird, Magic, Jordan, that team. The women's team haven't lost since that year as well, which is 92. Did you get a chance, by the way, in our final minute? Did you and Dwayne, hit the cafes? Was he dropping one-liners on French waiters? Did you guys get any of that?
Yeah, I would say so. We would go to dinner every now and then. We would hang out. We were doing games so much, and I had games every day. So he would have a couple days off here and there that he could dart back to Paris during the first week or whatever it might be. But we had an early game on one of the days, went to dinner afterward, and we got to this restaurant, and we picked one that was kind of outside the typical busy areas, so he didn't deal with tons of crowds, because I didn't realize how popular he was with the French in particular. I heard a lot of Dwayne Wade. We just kept hearing that. So included restaurant, sat down, and he ordered a Coke with ice, and they don't really do ice over there. So we ordered it. They go, no ice. And he goes, oh. And then about 2 minutes later, I think they recognized who he was, because fans outside started to make a little bit of a scene. And sure enough, he got ice. My statistician, Tyler Freed, got ice. And I got ice for my club soda. That was great.
Dwayne Wade doesn't bring rain. He brings ice when he shows up to Paris. I don't know if this is announced, but someone just texted. Hold on. Were you working on your Portuguese now?
We shall see. We shall see. TBD. Andrew.
TBD. Okay. I started the sentence, and I'm like, no, am I putting you in a bad spot? Regardless, you'll have many a Big Ten Saturday night coming up this year for NBC. No Eagle, I mean it. Great job, dude. Thanks for coming on. I know you're probably jet lagged and probably have laundry to do, but much appreciated.
How's your folding skills? Can you get back here to New York in time? Because that'd be very helpful.
I actually have to fly back to New York tomorrow, but I don't do windows and I don't do folding. I apologize.
Lethal. No, I appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
All right. Noah Eagle, everybody, who was amazing on the basketball with Dwayne Wade, both the men and the women, obviously, and had a golden dagger. Fantastic.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.